On and welcome, Alex. Thanks so much for joining us here today.
Thanks for having me, Sally.
Okay, it's a pretty big question right now how to pay for online education. And I've talked to parents who are frustrated at the notion that they might have to pay full tuition for an online learning circumstance. So I was pretty excited when I heard that you were going to be addressing that. Um, what do you think? If campuses do not open this fall, will there be a discount on tuition costs? I think SUNY Binghamton announced something similar, but I haven't been hearing about it otherwise.
Right. So there's been colleges are particularly mum on this topic right now. There are some colleges who've come out and adjusted their model. There are some colleges who've come out and said what they're going to do, but the vast majority of colleges have come out and said, well, we're taking a wait and see approach. And the reason for that is that many of these colleges are dependent on the tuition. Many of these colleges think it's going to be a financial nightmare if they can't open. So they want to do everything they can
Mm,
to get the approval to be in place to have students on campus for the fall. And some colleges just aren't equipped to deal with online education right now. So they're probably scrambling behind the scenes to get the technology in place to be able to remote and distance learn and distance instruct. So there's some components of that as well. So the short answer is it depends. The long answer will be I think it's going to be a little bit different at public and private colleges.
hmm
So we've seen some of the colleges in the UC system, for example, who have come out and said, we're charging the same price. And we're charging the same price because we're discounted anyway for in-state residents. We're less expensive to begin with. And of course, you're going to have your room and board cost, and you're going to have those types of kind of on-campus activities costs that have gone away. But the rest of your costs are probably going to stay the same. They're still having to pay your instructors. They're still having to pay staff. They're going to have to invest more in technology. So they're going to have
hmm
costs there. The question that I have will be at private colleges, at these private colleges that have really large tuition charges, is there going to be a substantial difference there?
hmm
Uh, and I think we're waiting to see if there's going to be that one school who's willing to dip their toe in the water and say, well, we're going to do it, a big name school,
hmm
and see if other schools follow. But I think there are so many, these small private colleges that are so tuition dependent that they're scared of their viability going forward
hmm
if they can't charge that. So,
Yeah.
so in other words, there's no real answer.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting because I'm on Facebook. Most people are, and I'm on this group of alumni from my college, Reed College, and this one friend of mine, and think she's great, respect her a lot. She has two kids in college, so she's paying two tuition bills. So absolutely
Right.
acknowledge that that is a big tuition bill, both of them in private
Sure.
colleges. And so one of them was in a fairly selective college that may not be fully tuition dependent, but the other one was absolutely like, I'm not
Right.
going to say the name, but I know for a fact that this school is right on the
Sure.
edge, that they are panicking right now. So she's freaking out that like, I didn't blame her for freaking out, but she was also sort of kind of ascribing negative intentionality as if the colleges were sort of looking to profit from this. And I
Yeah.
finally said, listen, I don't blame you for being frustrating. That is a lot of money, and you're not getting what you thought you'd get for it.
Sure.
But be aware, it's not going to be great for your kid if X college folds, which
Right.
is honestly what they're worried about right now. I can promise you 100%. So she was like, oh, okay, like, I guess that's the other side of it. I'm like, yeah, if you want to diss on Harvard, I'm fine with that. They've got billions of dollars. Like,
Right.
we all like to pick on Harvard and the really rich schools, but they can't afford it. That being said, they still had a budgeted plans, and this has thrown a monkey wrench into everything they're doing as well. So, but please know that with these smaller colleges that are tuition dependent, they are freaking out right now. Their jobs are not easier, their jobs are harder right now. It doesn't
Right.
mean that people shouldn't get a discount. I'm not qualified to weigh in on that, but just know that there's no negative impulses there. It's about really about survival.
Right. And yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, Sally. There are just a lot of colleges out there that in order to meet payroll need to get
hmm
tuition. And so it's a as it is for any business that's trying to operate and trying to adjust at this time and really just find a way to stay afloat, colleges are doing the same thing. At least many of them are.
So what about schools that have already had, I think, pretty robust online programs? I mean, here in
Sure.
Connecticut, you drive down the highway and you see signs for Southern New Hampshire University, which
Right.
I actually think is great. Like I think it's wonderful. Like Arizona State is similar. Some of these schools have these really robust online programs. They also
Yeah.
have the on-campus experience, so they're going to be there for any student, whatever those students' needs are. So, I mean, how might that be changing?
Yes, that's really interesting, and not going to try to gush too much about Southern New Hampshire University. This is my
Mhm.
former school. I worked there for a long time, and I think what they've done in schools like that is really amazing. Actually, my wife had a friend over last week, social distancing in the backyard, and I came out, and she said, "Hey, Liv's going to Southern New Hampshire University," and she's really excited about the format they put in place. So what Southern New Hampshire did is, so first of all, they had a very robust online platform to begin with. They were serving schools, students nationwide with their online platform. So they're fully prepared for this. But what they said was, for incoming freshmen, we're going to offer you a deal. The deal is we're going to cut tuition by $10,000. We're going to cut tuition by $10,000. And what you're going to do is you're going to be all 4 years, you're going to be learning remotely. But you're learning remotely with the opportunity to come live on campus when campus reopens.
Mhm.
So we're going to serve you in a different way.
Mhm.
In what this student was really excited about is that she has a cohort of students that she's going through this with. They've already built an online community. They're interacting already. So she says, if I'm going to have to be home anyway, and if I'm going to have to learn remotely anyway, let's do this as a team. Let's go in this together. And then
Mhm.
when campus does resume, maybe I'll go on campus, but still have that community that I've been with. So it's
Mhm.
interesting. I think that schools and Leslie University has done this, and as you said, Arizona State is a school that's well adapt to do this. So those colleges will offer maybe hybrid models like Southern New Hampshire is doing, offer full online models to students who want going forward, or offer the option of, once again, you can come into our online platform, and when we reopen, you can come here as well. So we'll see some variety of options of different colleges there. As far as price goes, the way I see that working is, if it's a hybrid model, they'll probably see an adjusted price.
Mhm.
If it's all remote, these colleges that serve distant populations as it is right now may have the capability of adjusting pricing to some degree because their technology is built in place. And
Mhm.
many of their instructors are probably used to that technology anyway. So you might have better opportunities of getting an adjustment there. Now, one thing I'll say is that with that price adjustment also comes a financial aid adjustment.
Mhm.
Uh, and that's what this mom was telling me, is that for her daughter, actually, the scholarship that she would have got to go on campus was going to make their costs less expensive than what this hybrid model was. So it was interesting to hear this. The hybrid model was going to be $2,000 or $3,000 more expensive because the scholarship wasn't coming into play.
Oh, interesting. So it can impact scholarships.
Yeah, and it's going to depend on what the colleges do. If the colleges stay full price, my anticipation would be that the financial aid is going to stay the same. They still have their full qualifications for federal aid, full qualifications for state-based aid. It'll be the institutional aid that would be the difference maker there. And I think if the institutions are going to charge full price, their financial aid must be full price as well, and their scholarships must be full price as well. If they're adjusting their pricing, there is going to be some proportional adjusting of their merit-based aid and their internal institutional need-based aid as well, which means that, once again, you might end up saving a few $1,000s or costing yourself a few $1,000s, depending on which end of the stick it is. So it's not necessarily going to be this financial savings that you thought it was going to be.
Mhm. I mean, it sounds like it will be either the same or a little savings for families that are full price. But when you have the merit or the
Right.
need-based aid, that's where it gets a lot more complex.
That's
Okay.
right. So if you're paying full price right now, it'll totally depend on what the school does. And if
Hmm.
they adjust costs and drop costs, certainly you're going to see that savings. But for families who are relying on either scholarships or need-based financial aid to supplement what they're able to afford, yeah, you may not see a huge windfall of savings.
Hmm. I'm kind of wondering, I mean, is there going to be huge numbers of people putting in appeals right now? I mean, I'm sort of,
Yeah.
what do you think, um, you know, how, like, I mean, I just have to imagine that financial aid offices are kind of underwater right now trying to figure out what to
Yeah.
do.
They are, and not dissimilar, but in a lot of ways very dissimilar to what happened in 2008. And so in 2008, when the economy crashed and there was lots of job losses, colleges took financial aid appeals and decided which way to go with them. And what some colleges decided to do was, well, let's wait until this actually impacts you. Meaning, let's wait until your severance runs out if you're getting
Hmm.
severance. Let's wait until we see when unemployment may run out. And let's see when your financials are adjusted for a year. And then maybe we'll have a conversation. And some colleges said, we'll consider that right away. Colleges now are in this period of saying, we're really hoping things get back to normal pretty quick, and we're really hoping the economy bounces back pretty quick, so we don't have to handle these financial aid appeals. So colleges on appeals certainly are hearing them, but they're hearing them for significant income loss only and
Hmm.
not for asset reduction. So a lot of folks, their college funds have taken a financial hit.
Hmm.
Colleges likely are not discussing that because their endowments have taken a hit. So what they're saying is, okay, we may adjust for income adjustments, but some colleges are saying, well, let's wait till next semester or next year, and then we'll talk about the adjustment. But then we've seen, on the other hand, folks who have not even had a big financial hit going back to colleges and saying, hey, we're really needing more money.
Hmm.
And the college is coming back for more money because they're afraid of losing a student. So it's really it's a rocky time for everybody.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sympathetic all the way across the board, is what I
Yeah.
would say. And I actually have a nephew who's finishing up his junior year, and I had thought, well, maybe he should defer for a year. We had sort of talked about that, and now I know that that might impact things too. I mean, it's so complicated. So I think, as I said with the last segment with, or as we said with the last segment with the testing, it just seems like they need to keep checking with the colleges, right? Like what should people do going forward if colleges are saying we're not making any adjustments now? Should they check back on their website in 2 weeks? Should they call the financial aid
Yeah.
office? Like what's your advice there?
So there's a couple things that I'd do. So first of all, if you haven't gone back to the colleges and talked about the financials, if you are experiencing financial difficulty, or if you're feeling like if we're going to be on campus and this is going to be our price model that we need more money, you should go ahead and do that. You should check back in with your college. Now, with that being said, when you're trying to check to see, okay, is my tuition going to be reduced? Okay, is my financial aid going to be different because my tuition is reduced, or is the
Mhm.
tuition going to be the same? Colleges are overwhelmed right now, and staff is working remotely. So I would do your best to hold off. Let's get on their Twitter page. Let's get on Instagram. Let's make sure we're following them on those social media platforms. Let's check back on their website. Let's do that regularly, and let's give them a little bit of a breather to try to figure things out. Because as we see in every state across America, it's day by day.
Mhm.
Governors are making different decisions on what's safe and what's not safe. And then, they're making those decisions in quite honestly not knowing whether it is safe or not. So I
Mhm.
think colleges are trying to see, okay, how is this thing going to fall? Because we do have 3 months here before we have to be on campus. So are there going to be a lot of things that change in 3 months? We know our world was very different 3 months ago.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much, Alex. I really appreciate your time and thoughts on this incredibly complicated topic.
Absolutely, Sally. Was happy to talk to you.
All right. So sorry, Alex, that's supposed to shift to me. Um, so get ready. Thanks so much to everybody for being on our show today. And thank you to all of my guests. Get ready for our show on June 4th. When our regular host, Elizabeth Heaton, will be answering listener questions and pathways to college if you are a B or C student. And if you want more information about how to handle the admission process in the time of COVID-19, please check out our show from March 26 when we address student engagement with colleges and even how to decide on a college when you can't visit. In addition, they had some suggestions for what students can do with their extra time at home. We've also written some blogs on how to cope with COVID-19's impact on the college admission process. So do make sure to go to our webpage at blog.getintocollege.com. And I've brought these up on, the show before, but I wanted to bring it up again because these are just questions that I keep getting over and over again. And last, I do want to emphasize, if you want to search for a particular Getting In show topic, you can search by going to our blog page to find the date, as we include a summary of each show there. So again, that address is blog.getintocollege.com. And don't forget, we're here every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. So check it out.